Excuse me, rust turns a cast iron pan ginger. And just like in the human world, gingers are, wow, second-class citizens.
Today, these two contestants compete for no prize and no money on this episode of SLIDED. Now, let's meet your judges. He doesn't know where the camera is. It's Jonathan Polanco. Holds world record for world's saddest keg stand. It's Matt Keim. Curator of the world's largest collection of taxidermy chipmunks. It's Abrham Bogale. Some housekeeping before we start. Each contestant must present a slideshow they've never seen before. The contestants will be judged on comedy, character, and content. And did we mention they must complete their presentation in under 5 minutes? Let's meet our contestants before they're SLIDED. Contestant number 1, are you ready?
I'm number 1.
Your presentation starts now.
All right, this guy is about art by Mommy and Me. Next slide. Okay, now the placenta provides oxygen and nutrients to your growing baby and removes waste products from your baby's blood. And you can see this beautiful piece here by a burgeoning young artist. It really captures the baby's attachment to the placenta, both emotionally and literally. Next slide. Why not make art out of what gave life to your precious child? Now, there's a lot of uses for a placenta, but not many people have come around to the idea of actually using the placenta as a piece of art itself. Next slide. Make an art print using the placenta, a little typo there, sorry about that, that's slithered out of your body. Now, slithered is a bit of a choice word depending on your personal body, but yeah, you can actually cover your placenta in paint. I don't want to give away everything on this slide here, but you can use it as one of your mediums. Next slide. You can add details if you'd wanted to make your placenta into a tree. Maybe your child was conceived by an illegitimate wood nymph. Who knows? It's your placenta, your choice. Next slide. Placenta teddy bear can be a fun sewing project for the whole family. Now, I do want to emphasize that your child should not actually touch this teddy bear for 7 to 10 years, but it makes an excellent 10th birthday present. Next slide. The umbilical cord carries oxygens and nutrients from the placenta into your baby's bloodstream, but that's not all you can do with it. Next slide. You can shape it and bake it. Placenta pretzel, if you will, umbilical cord pretzel. Love, or your baby's name, or the word regret. Shapes even, small animals, whatever the mind can drum up. Next slide. Now, the dried cord can create shapes like hearts and have endless uses. You could wear them as jewelry, you could hang them on your walls, you could give them as gifts for people you forgot about. Really, nobody is not gonna love getting a shaped umbilical cord for Christmas. Next slide. Or you can always make it into a tasty snack. Now, I've seen some people put it in a smoothie, but why do smoothie when you could do chocolates and truffles, or make steamed placenta, a little placenta carpaccio, if you will. I mean, it's healthy, it's delicious, and quite frankly, what the hell else are you gonna do with it? Next slide. In conclusion, the human body is a gross wasteland where any number of unknowable things happen. Why not take one of those gross, unknowable things and give it purpose in the world after it is done nourishing your baby? Thank you.
All right, there we go. Let's give it up for contestant number 1. That was disgusting.
Right.
That was simply stunning. Placenta chocolate, really quick, top recipe that comes to your head.
To make placenta chocolate or to use a placenta in chocolate. I mean, I personally love a placenta truffle.
Oh my god.
Dark chocolate, cream cheese, placenta blended up, covered in more chocolate.
It's so simple.
It's
great for parties.
It's sweet
Jesus
yet
Christ.
bitter.
All right, judges. Jonathan, let's hear from you first.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. The pros, you seemed very, very, interested and enthused about what you were presenting, and that is really key in trying to get what you're trying to get across to the audience. Like if you want them to be interested in the topic that you're talking about, you yourself have to be interested, and you literally were very interested in this topic. The cons, this topic, do you have a child?
People always ask me that. I don't. How's that even? Would you be asking me that if I was a man?
So the logical step my brain goes to is, where is she getting all these placentas from? So that kind of worries me a little bit, where you're getting all these placentas from to kind of go into this research. But at the same time, I can I withdraw my time?
Yes, you can. Matt Keim, how are you feeling?
You came up with a lot of really good, really practical applications for the placenta that I'd never even considered. That said, it doesn't really seem all that practical to hang on to it for 10 years and then give it as a gift.
We are working on a antibacterial, but so far it's destroyed all the teddy bears, so.
Abraham.
Wow. Terrific. Amazing. And most of all, yummy. Now, unfortunately, those are none of the things that I'm thinking right now after viewing your presentation. And as American Idol judge Randy Newman once said, "This ain't it, Chief." Now, I have to say that this, in all, is some why peepo shit. In that I, as an African-American man, have in no way intention of doing what you have presented in front of me. That being said, I do understand why you do it, as why peepo do what white people do.
Thank you.
All right, and that's it for contestant number 1. Contestant number 2, are you ready?
Yes, that is my name. And number 2, I am ready.
Your presentation starts now.
Okay, guys, I'm so glad that, first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to this presentation. This is probably one of the most important topics I've had, and I've needed to talk about it from the beginning of the pandemic. So why don't we dive right into it? How to season cast iron. Next slide, please. Seasoning, a slick and glassy coating created baking on multiple thin coats of oil. On the right here, this pan dates back to easily the early 1700s, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to make that 1700s pan look like it was done in the late 2000s. So why don't we continue, please? Okay, I assume everyone here has spent some time in the kitchen, spent some time baking, cast iron. So again, I'm gonna read through every slide, and I want to make sure we dive in really well. The seasoning here protects the cast iron pan from getting rusted and makes for a non-stick coating surface. Now, the most exciting thing about cast iron pans is that is actually not a meal in that pan right there on the right that you see. But I will get further into that on the next slide. Okay, okay. Rust turns a cast iron pan into ginger. Rust turns a cast iron pan ginger. And just like in the human world, gingers are, wow, second-class citizens. That is, yes. See, this is where the science of cast iron starts to get tricky, because there's a lot of other types of pots and pans that are second-class citizens. But that might be a PowerPoint for another day. Okay, next slide. Okay. Speaking of cast iron, on the right is one of our favorite actresses of all time. If I was to get a raise of hands from the judges, what would be? Does anybody know this name, really quick?
Nicki Minaj.
Judy Garland.
Nicki Minaj.
Cameron
Judy
Diaz.
Garland. Third time's a charm. Cameron Diaz. This is actually Cameron Diaz who has her own line of cast iron pots and pans. The fickle thing is she doesn't cook in them. So, and this is all due to science. Science has proven that gingers are 50% scarier and 37.5% dumber. Okay, let's see if the next slide has anything to do with gingers this time. Many villains are ginger to further. Many villains are ginger to further prove this fact. So we have Chucky. We have Ed Sheeran. I'm gonna put these little knobs. Poison Ivy, fun fact. Poison Ivy was where I recently learned about my sexuality due to that movie, and hence why she's a villain. And last but not least, we have my priest from my local church. So let's continue to the next slide. And now keep in mind, all of those have to do with cast iron. So especially the priest. Gingers have culturally appropriate. Okay. I just wanted to take a quick second for us to look at this picture. My daughter took this picture, and she took out all of the ginger from our refrigerator, and she said, "Daddy," and I said, "Hey, I'm not your daddy, but what were you gonna say?" She said, "Daddy, why don't you buy ginger anymore? This looks so good." And I told her, I literally read the slide to her. Gingers have culturally appropriated ginger, honey. Little Molly, that's my daughter's name. Little Molly, gingers have culturally appropriated ginger, a spice typically found in Southeast Asian cuisines. Yep. And she then, she took that picture and cried for the rest of the day. So we can continue on, please. Okay, some gingers like sirens. Well, so this, I think, I love how having these open conversations, it really changes from simple cast iron to us literally talking about the most important parts. And like, oh my goodness, some gingers like sirens, also known as the Little Mermaid and Ariana Grande, use their voices to ruin lives. Reba, in the bottom right-hand corner, used her voice to destroy mine. So we can
I'm gonna
continue.
stop you there. I think culturally it's pronounced Reba. So, you know, we're about cultural inclusion here. So
I understand that, but my PowerPoint's on a white brick wall. So we're gonna let me have the information today. Stalin dyed his hair to conceal the fact that he was a ginger, but red is the color of communism. That is a loaded PowerPoint slide, so we are going to go on to the next one. I hope you guys are all in the back of your mind keeping... these are all the steps to...
All right,
really
and that
clearing
was
out
5 minutes. Unfortunately, he did not finish with only one slide left. But regardless, it was a good effort. Judges, let's give him a little round of applause. Jonathan, how are you feeling?
You have such passion when you speak. And you just, you seem like you care about the topic so much. And, I want to root for you. You seem like such a good person. But, baby, that made no sense.
Are you angry about the Reba comment? That just
It's not only about the Reba comment, it's about your lack of acknowledgement that you are culturally appropriating something that you know nothing about, and you're incorrectly pronouncing her name, which is just like a slap in the face to all of the indigenous gingers that came before her. And I don't know. You're so sweet. You're so nice. It's fine. You're not really good at public speaking, but it's okay. As long as you sit in the back and just smile and keep clapping your hands, I think you'll do great.
Thank you, Chef.
Matt.
I think you had some challenging information you had to get across, which is why you didn't finish the entire information. I still don't know what the final steps of cleaning a cast iron skillet involve. As an aside, you mentioned a couple of different things about your daughter. You said to her that you're not her daddy. So just for clarification point, are you her daddy?
See, the trickiest part about that answer is that it was actually on the final slide.
Next!
Abraham.
You know, I found this interesting because the idea of putting down someone based on features that they can't control is something that I'm totally unfamiliar with. And frankly, you giving that presentation was something that maybe I did need to hear, but at the same time, cast iron is a very boring subject. And like Abraham Lincoln once thought to himself, God, I wish someone would just shoot me in the back of the head because this is boring.
There we have it. Now, judges, let's reach our final verdict. Who should pass on to the next round? Jonathan.
I mean, they're both shit, but I in good conscience, can't let another straight white man have power and control over a strong female presence. So I'm gonna go with Mandy.
Make your vagina!
Matt.
Well, technically we're picking a placenta right now, so I think you should get that right. But I am picking you because you did finish your presentation, and I am oddly hungry right now.
Whew. All right, it seems we have a verdict. However, Abraham, does Colin walk away with no points, or is everything going to Madalyn?
Well, would I have the chicken or the fish? Neither, because I'm thinking placenta's on the menu tonight.
Now if it's not clean, we didn't finish how to clean it, so I can't do it.
Gonna get some rusty ass placenta. Nobody wants that.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Madalyn, we will see you in the next round. We will see you on the next episode of SLIDED.